Drizzy, BBL Drizzy, JK. I'm Team Drizzy, so we're not saying that again. And Kdot. What's good
Okay, the
with it?
Kendrick Drake beef. I'm gonna be honest. I might. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm gonna just be real with it. I've never really fucked with Kendrick.
Kendrick came out with a bunch of stuff that Drake is saying is like false, like one, not taking care of his child, two, getting with underage girls.
At the same time, when they're dropping his address and shit like that, and then somebody ends up getting shot and hurt, it does seem like Manny was alluding to a little bit too coincidental.
Tom Brady roast show.
Oh my god, that shit was fucking comedic gold.
I loved it, and
I
I'm
love.
so glad and thankful Netflix let that be the way it is. other than one thing which I heard and I saw this on TikTok too, but apparently everyone booed Kim K when she came up, and that is gone. Keto's got me feeling like a G.
G thing, baby.
Too loped out, going crazy.
Okay, I like that. Might have to throw you on the next track.
Feel me?
What's up, everybody out there watching in YouTube/podcast/TV land? This is another episode of P2P with Fredo and DG. I'm DG. This is Fredo, of course.
That's me.
And yeah, we're glad you guys are here to watch. So first things first, we want to talk to them about our merch.
Yeah, we got some hats right here. So yeah, we're gonna post those up. Hit us in the DMs if you want to cop a hat. We would appreciate it.
Yeah, and they're honestly like really nice quality.
Yeah.
I'm fucking with them. I know it's our product, so it's not like I'm gonna come on here and say it's shitty, but
It's shit, huh?
nah, but it's nice.
No, they're
I
good.
like them.
Some
And
foamies.
yep.
Yeah, suede next.
Yep. Yeah, we got the trucker right now, but any proceeds obviously are very, very, very much appreciated. So you know what? It feels weird like selling my own merch, even though it shouldn't be because I'm an artist and shit. But I still like go like beyond that concept to think like people even like want to buy shit that we're connected to.
Yeah,
Like, you
still.
know what I mean? It kind of feels like weird.
Well, sales suck. I
Yeah.
hate sales. Like that part of like life and entrepreneurship is horrible.
Well, it can feel phony because if like it can almost feel like you're trying to trick somebody or like
Yeah.
convince them into doing something. And if you don't, one, have all your product knowledge, and then two, have like a lot of self-confidence, like you can just come off like you just want their money.
Yeah,
You
you got to be your number one supporter and fan
Yep.
as you start the journey until it goes.
Facts. So shit, let's get to some of these
Let's
topics.
do it. Drizzy, BBL Drizzy, JK. I'm Team Drizzy, so we're not saying that again. And Kdot. What's
Okay,
good with
the
it?
Kendrick Drake beef.
What do you think? Who do you have winning right now?
I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you start off on it, and then I'll chime in.
All right, so here's my thing. One, I'm gonna go bias Drake.
Yeah, I fuck with
Just
Drake too.
because, and it's not even really bias. It's like overall, he's number one. Like that's undisputed
Yeah,
type deal. So
he
he's
got more hit-
undisputed.
I got more hits than the Beatles.
Number one, more number ones. I think he's tied with Michael Jackson for a few of these things.
Yeah.
And even though Kendrick's from LA, whatever, but like I'm
I'm gonna be honest. I might. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm gonna just be real with it. I've never really fucked with Kendrick.
Okay.
I might catch a lot of flack for that.
I mean, I think his music's good when it's on like with Drake. When Drake's featured on it, you know what I'm saying? But like it's true though. Like think about everyone else Drake's calling out or they're calling him out. Like same with Rick Ross.
Yeah.
And anyone else. Like when Drake is on a feature or it's his song, amazing.
And
it's like undisputed. It really is.
well, it's like an unwritten rule that like if you want a number one hit, get Drizzy on the track.
Yeah, I mean, there was Rick Ross the other day was I think in Miami. Well, he lives there, Florida, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was bumping Drake. What's the damn? Okay, I'm blanking on the song.
We could just look them up.
With the cars. Oh, I can't even think of it.
Aston Martin music.
There we go. He was bumping that like the other day, but it's like, bro, like you're talking hella smack, but then you'll still bump that. Like that's kind of like that's lame shit for real.
Honestly, I mean, in the eyes of real life, it's lame, but really, like in the industry of music and business, it's like
No, it makes sense.
no, yeah, it makes sense because your stock's going up. If Drake's talking
Yeah.
about me, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad; it's still gonna get the same publicity. And if you're a smart businessman, you'll capitalize on it.
Yeah.
So that's what leads to a lot of people thinking that these beefs are like manufactured just to drive up like sales and streams. But obviously, it starts getting serious when people are getting shot outside Drake's house.
Yeah.
And Drake himself, just like Manny was saying, I mean, he got some real hitters around him too. It's not like he's just some average Joe. So it's it's a muddy line to toe, like between it being, just industry shit, and then we're just, basically getting in the studio and making music about it, to then when it like boils over into real life
Yeah.
and people are starting to get hurt.
Well, so back to like why I would have Drake on top, even if like he is on top in my opinion, because one, um, as of right now, Kendrick is not disputing any of the allegations. That's
Yeah.
one. Two, um, he Kendrick came out with a bunch of stuff that Drake is saying is like false, like one, not taking care of his child, two, getting with underage girls. It's like, and then he came out with the heart part 6, which just like totally debunked him, and then he set him up.
Yeah,
And in my
exactly.
opinion, if that comes out that was 100% true, that someone in his camp fed Kendrick all that information and Kendrick ran with it, bro, that's a dub.
It
That
is.
that's like, these two are two legends, two greats, and the fact that he ran with a mole
Yeah.
would be crazy. Like,
And I wouldn't that's something that, like, that's on brand for Drake. I
yeah,
wouldn't put it past him. It's very believable at the end. Do we have anything to prove it? I don't know. If maybe he
not yet
has.
at least.
I mean, if I was Drake, they film everything, right? You
Yeah.
would think they probably made some content out of it that they might post,
Well,
but,
they have the girl,
they
like,
have the
because
girl?
he came out saying, "Oh, his hidden daughter," whatever, but then Drake released the song with, like, the girl's picture that they
Yeah.
said was his daughter, but he really just baited him into it.
And so the one thing that I think I don't agree with in the rap beef is like, one, they're talking about shit that really, from an average person's point of view, we can't confirm nor deny. You know what I mean? Like, are they
Yeah,
going to show us the evidence? So I feel like they should more or less be in just rap beefs in general, have fun, more fun with it instead of trying to like really create like tension between real life events that may have happened, but nobody really knows about. It's like it almost starts to be like a he said, she said, or
yeah,
he said, I guess. But so it's like in one hand, it's okay, but in the other hand, it's not more of the substance for me. And like, how good does the song sound? Because
yeah,
if the substance is real or not, the lyrics are real or not, the shots are real or not, that's one thing. But then it's like, okay, bar for bar, though, song for song, which ones are more sonically like pleasing? Which ones songs are better? And you think the Drake ones that he's dropped so far have been better?
I mean, Kendrick had some slappers, but, like, if it's fake, then to me, it's like, or if you're fed misinformation and you go
Yeah,
make a slapper out of
it's
that, like,
invalidated,
bro,
right?
that's whack.
Yeah, that's what I feel like
Like,
too.
in that case, like, anyone could,
Could
not
do it.
anyone, but anyone in the music industry could just make a song about a bunch of bullshit at the end of the day.
I mean, they're doing that regardless, but I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, but
And
not in like a straight like back and forth. You know what I'm
And I
saying?
feel like online has ran with like Kendrick's side. Like if you go online,
Yeah,
a lot of people
100%.
are going to be saying like Kendrick won, and I feel like that's just because Drake's been on top for so long. It's like heavy as the head that
Yeah,
wears the crown. Eventually it's like people can love you, but eventually they want to see the person at the top fall,
yeah.
and it's just like human nature almost.
And I've always wondered, like, can someone else replace Drake? Or can he ever fall? And in my opinion, I mean, I don't think he could. I mean, now and we'll talk about like shootings and how that can affect things, but like
Like his legacy
I
is
just don't
cemented.
like I just don't think he could fall. Like I don't think anyone could come up and do it better than he did. I haven't seen anyone close yet.
And then
I just don't know.
And then it's like, well, I mean, from the people that are like in the game and like have a little bit of notoriety and have gotten famous and are celebrities, they say like it's pretty easy to get on, but it's like, can you stay on? That's
Yeah.
like supposedly a lot harder. So he's obviously a master at that.
Yeah.
He's been on
Year
top for
after
like the
year
last
after
10
year after
years.
year.
I would definitely call him the artist of the decade.
Yeah.
And, you know, partially like the 2010s, that decade too. I mean, we're almost halfway through this one and he's
Yeah.
still, chart topping. So it's like he's on some like LeBron-esque run type shit,
Yeah.
So I'm always gonna be team Drake because I like his music a little bit better, his style of flow and just beat selection, lyrics. Kendrick's cool, and don't get me wrong, he's definitely a spitter, but I've never really resonated or related with the stuff that he said. It's almost like he's a little too cryptic for me,
Yeah.
so I'd have to almost like go
Understand
yeah,
and
go back,
dissect.
listen to stuff. He's one of those guys where it's like you can take 10 listens to the song and each time you're coming away with something new.
Yeah.
Which in and of itself is good, and that's why some people have him highly ranked because a lot of people like, replaying the song and listen to every lyric and
Mhm.
then going and researching each lyric and seeing exactly what they're referencing and what they're talking about, which is cool. For me, I think the most easily digestible music is the best, and I feel like the majority of people feel the same way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's almost like when you have a conversation with somebody. I'd rather have a conversation with somebody that's upfront, direct, and when they explain something, it's easily understandable versus somebody where it's like you can't really understand what they're saying. You have to ask them again and again. I kind of make that comparison with it, so that's why I've always liked Drake. But I'll be honest and say that I haven't even listened to any of the diss tracks,
Not even on TikTok.
not even on TikTok. I've heard a little bit of the BBL Drizzy shit.
If this was live, I'd be like, chat, is he capping? But it's not live. So but you are capping. There's no way you haven't listened to any of it.
I haven't listened to him, bro.
It
I mean,
doesn't come up on your FYP.
nah, I mean, if it does, I wouldn't even give it the time of day, to be honest, because I make so much music and I create my own music. It's like when I do go to my platforms like social media and I'm looking at stuff, it really has the least to do with music.
Yeah.
That plus I don't want to be influenced by like social media and what everybody's saying. I'd rather than this whole beef to play out and then maybe like a month later I'd go back and listen to each song in succession, like one after the other chronologically how they came out.
Yeah.
And I'd make my own, opinion, like, on the information I gathered based off who won or who didn't, not necessarily listen to it in real time. And it's inevitable. You're going to be influenced by, outside noise and what everybody's saying. So that's a reason that's my reasoning behind
Yeah.
not listening to everything at this moment cuz obviously like I said Drake's one of my favorite artists, so I definitely do want to take a listen to it, but I don't want to be influenced by all the other bullshit people saying.
Yeah, and then now it's kind of just like, I think not overplayed, but like the whole like shooting stuff is like where now it gets like into the gray area of like, all right, what I mean, what's the next level? Like if it was like the
N-
next level technically with Drake, someone has to retaliate back, right? But
Exactly. I
they're
mean,
like so up there that it's
yeah.
like, I mean, I honestly, I think Drake's like able enough to like dead ass hard like hit people.
Oh, for sure.
Like I
But
think he's up there
and
enough,
he
which is
definitely
kind
has
of
the
scary.
money and the
That's what I'm saying.
connections. But
So
and then it's like, is the shooting even related to the Kendrick
they
shit?
said
Like,
no.
yeah, people are gonna like assume whatever, and
Yeah,
then with so much information and misinformation these days, you never know what's really true and what's
yeah,
not. So it could not even be related.
yeah,
And I hope it's not because I don't want to see anybody get hurt. And prayers out to anybody that
yeah.
has been
Time out.
hurt. And Manny, like, what were you saying about the Nike shit with Drake?
Do you want to hit the
Yeah,
mic?
break it down for us real quick.
It's a lot more deep when you think about when it comes into people coming in with guns and violence and things like that. Although I feel like although it wasn't directly related to
Yeah,
Kendrick or you know what I'm saying, they're saying that it's not. At the end of the day, they're putting his address out to a bunch of people that didn't know it before.
Oh, they dropped the
yeah,
Addy?
Yeah.
I
that's
didn't know that.
crazy.
Yeah, they've been dropping his Eddie, and they've
Oh
been
shit.
dropping his house, and now they're doing like comparisons to like Rick Ross's house and Drake's house and all these artists' house, right? But it's like there's being artists, you have fans, and then there's like really hardcore fans, and in certain
And there's
industries,
just crazy people.
you don't want to have people know where you live
And
Yeah.
there's
No,
real
hundred
because
life
percent.
there's real life consequences in this
yes,
shit that's
yes,
going on.
very crazy,
Yeah.
right? Like to the extremes, and the extremes are possibilities. It's not like they aren't.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're taking that into consideration, like possibly someone going in and shooting, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so someone just shot after they've been releasing Drake's address. Why hasn't it happened before?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It seems like too coincidental to be like a coincidence.
Yeah, and then you bring into like the aspect of like, all right, like same thing or back to the Drake thing, like he left kids out of this. It was Kdot who brought kids up first and
Mhm.
start talking about Adonis. And it's just like,
And I feel like
like if you want to go there, I mean, now you went there. So you don't take that back now. But even when it goes into like the shooting and like dropping it, like there's a certain extent, like, yeah, if you want Drake, if you even want the worst to happen to him, if you're Kdot, it's like, all right, leave his family out of it.
yeah.
Um,
And that's usually like an unwritten rule, like
yeah,
we don't speak
exactly.
on our family
Exactly.
because, shit can get murky.
I mean, if I was Drake, I'd sell that fucking crib the next
And
day
then
and I'd
there's a lot of
bounce.
people that I've heard is like it's almost like a tourist attraction in Toronto or in Canada. Like,
Oh, really? So
yeah,
so
like how they have the like Hollywood buses
yeah,
in Hollywood that drive around and look at all the people, famous people's cribs. So I've heard that aspect of it too, where it's like everybody in Toronto knows where
yeah,
Drake lives, type shit. But at the same time, when they're dropping his address and shit like that, and then somebody ends up getting shot and hurt. it does seem like, you know, Manny was alluding to, a little bit too coincidental.
I'd have a whole fucking tactical team on my property.
Nah, for sure. And especially like, bro, when you have a property
Booted and suited for real.
that's that big too,
Yeah.
it's like you need that type of shit. And
Yeah.
then Manny also brought up another good point where it was like, you know, Drake takes care of a lot of people, you know, and
Yeah.
like he has a Nike sponsorship, a Nike deal, not just
Yeah.
a sponsorship really, it's like a deal, and they come out with shoe lines, the whole nine, and it's like Nike's not going to want to be synonymous with somebody that's out here fucking shooting people in the street.
Yeah.
That's bad for business. So there's a lot of different like layers to how it can affect somebody's life other than just the music shit.
Mhm.
And other than that, I haven't heard anything like that happening with Kendrick. You know, like his
Nah.
address getting dropped or people really getting hurt, and maybe there's a lot of shit I don't
I
know.
think Drake's in the. I mean, if I were Drake, I'd be plotting
Facts.
some crazy stuff for sure.
And I'm not saying
So
this shit's fucking fake, but at the end of the day, if this all did come out to be like a ruse and
I
manufactured,
don't think it would. I
but
don't
I'm
think
saying
it
if it
is.
did, bro, that'd be like the greatest marketing move of all time.
But like, but then you
Real
have to go.
life is becoming a movie
But
type
then you,
shit. Like, you know what I mean?
but then you have to go back to why would Drake even care or want to entertain something that's gone to this level?
Well, that's what
He
I'm
was
saying.
already. He was.
Well, I'm saying it could be
You
fake.
know.
Like, I'm
But
obviously
that's what
it
I'm
might
saying was
not be fake.
why would it?
Make money.
And but why?
Well, why does anybody
Okay,
want to
think about
make
it like
money?
this. Drake, like everyone around the world knows him. You have the jet, you have the house, you have the females.
It could take a
Why?
lot of money to sustain that type of shit.
Okay, so then at the risk of your kid, your
Well, when you
house,
say why,
people's lives,
when you say why, I'ma just think
you're
of the
just saying
first
money.
things that hit the top of my head. It could take a lot of money. You know how people live paycheck to paycheck? Like they
Yeah,
say Floyd Mayweather, quote unquote, lives paycheck to paycheck. And he makes, you know, in the nine figures every time he fights, but he spends it just as quick. So that could be a reason. If
yeah,
you're spending a lot of money, you have a lot going out, you need a lot coming
yeah. I
back.
guess he has obviously expensives
And it's like when you
and
get to the
stuff
top, what do you
astronomical.
do to stay in front of people's face and like push the narrative and push the needle? You know, you create different type of things where
Yeah,
it's like to us it could look like real life, but to him it's like how a lot of these artists have
yeah,
manufactured beef just to try to push up record sales because hey, my next one's my best one.
yeah.
So it's like that's a honest way to look at it. And is it true? I don't know, but I was just giving an abstract example. There could be a lot of different reasons like that, but I don't know. Hopefully you just I hope that people just kind of let this shit be settled in the studio and with the music instead of in the street and people getting
I
hurt and
don't know.
shit.
I don't know
At
if
the
it
end of the
will
day,
now.
it's not worth nobody's life. You know what I mean? I think that shit's corny.
Yeah, I don't think it will now though. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know what Drake's gonna do or how it'll play out, but I think a little more. So there has to be something in my
Yeah.
opinion. But
But either way, y'all drop a comment. Y'all let us know who you think's winning the beef, Kendrick or Drake.
yeah,
And
we got Drizzy over here.
we'll settle the argument in the chat.
Um, but speaking of the what I would say is like fake and unreasonable allegations of Drake with his underage girls, have you seen that stuff with Vitelli? Oh,
Yeah, you were
this
talking
boy
about
doesn't
it.
even watch TikTok, so
Nah, I do watch
I
TikTok a
sent
little
it to
bit.
you. We're gonna get a little live
Yeah, the
reaction.
video you sent us.
Um,
I'm gonna watch it right now and I'll react to
all
it.
right, let us know.
See what's going on. Now shit's gonna be all in my For You page now as I
Yeah,
watched it one time.
no, it's crazy.
They got Bradley Martin
Yeah,
in the video, all big and
yeah.
intimidating. Damn, he's done all these movies. Bro, side note, you know how crazy the internet is? So this dude obviously made one of the craziest movies, Space Jam, and that's the
Exactly,
song that they're using in the background for the TikTok movie. Welcome to the Space
exactly.
Jam. Can you hear it? Like, that's crazy. The internet's
So do you know
undefeated.
who this guy is?
Break it down for us a little bit.
So
I know
he,
he's in the
yeah,
movie
so
industry, right?
he's an American screenwriter. Space Jam is probably like his, I would say, like one of the top knowns.
Herschel Wingrid.
Yes. So
Might not be saying that right.
basically, what's been happening is
That's crazy.
Vitelli has a kick deal, and he's going around LA, and they're doing like people have been doing this, but now obviously someone known and is doing it live.
And they're
But they're
exposing these
baiting
pedophiles and
exactly.
shit.
So all over like LA, from literally no names to now their first like, oh shit, we just fucked with the industry.
Like quote unquote people that may be like tied into
Like full
the
blown
secret society type
exactly,
shit.
exactly. So
Illuminati.
So they've just been going around, and what they'll do is they'll pull up on these pedophiles, like, once, they get enough messages and whatever,
Set up a
they
date and
set up
shit.
a date, and then they pull up and, like, they'll either make people, like, shave their heads, or they'll, like, spray paint their cars, or throw goo on them, just a bunch of stuff to humiliate them and be like, just give them shit, right? And then, like, if they feel like they've done enough, they'll let the dude walk away. If not, they'll call the cops, or they'll leave it up to him. So, like, they'll be like, wear a clown suit and go walk home. That's what
What
they
they
get.
do to the old dude?
Hold on. Or we'll call the cops. So they kind of, it's like a mixture of both. To this guy, he just started walking home. So they're just walking behind him. They try not to touch them. They've had, like, not Sean
We don't
O'Malley.
get an
They've had, like, a
assault
few,
case.
like, celebrities with Vitaly. So, like, on this one, it was Bradley Martin. So this dude starts walking home.
Boy yoked up
This
too.
dude starts walking home, and then and he walks into his complex, and, like, the security's right there, and is like, hey, like, there's a fine line, right? So that they're not breaking laws.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, it's like, shave your head, throw goo on you, we let you walk home, and you don't get a pedo charge, and you don't go to jail. Well, yesterday, or like this week, and then we'll hop back onto what's crazy about this, but this week, the DA of LA came out and was like, we're not gonna show up to your calls anymore. Um, we're just not gonna show up anymore.
I
So
wonder
the
what the
DA of
reasoning's
LA is
behind that.
like, no matter how many pedophiles you catch, we're not showing up. And I got it
Why?
right here. Um,
Good job, Fredo.
yeah, sorry. It went away, but
Yeah,
I did.
I get the
Yeah.
gist of what you're saying.
So
Why do you
what's
think that would be? Just because resources
it's
are
like
limited?
it's like I mean, that, and, like, there's not enough evidence.
Yeah, so
So,
they're just
like,
pretty much coming
so
out like as a scare tactic.
exactly.
But I feel
So,
like any cop you talk to would like be down to do that. Like
but
come out and like scare a fucking
well, not in LA,
possible
because
pedophile.
in LA
I mean,
there.
personally, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like if you went to a cop personally and was like, "Hey, do you want to?" And that's something that they could also do too. If you want to start really getting connected with law enforcement, you can go to some of these cops off duty and kind of ask them if they would participate.
I mean,
And
I don't know if you can't be an off-duty cop for LAPD and then do off-duty work
no, you're
of,
not
like,
off duty
scaring
work, but
people.
you would involve them in the videos, like how they bring Bradley Martin. You'd bring a guy, but he's off duty cop. So then, if he's like,
Well, that's where I'm saying
if
I
he's
think.
hitting up his boys that are on duty and like, hey, we need to do something,
Oh, maybe.
bro.
But back to this, to answer why the DA is not, is because they're grabbing evidence, but probably not enough evidence to, like, stick the full charge. So the
Yeah,
DA is like,
it's like a waste
look,
of
you're gonna
time.
bring me 3 cases a day or one a day, and there's evidence of you like, unless, and on some of them they've been like, they have sent, like, dick pics and shit. So, like, unless
That's
there's
crazy.
that, but if you're just like, yo, oh, you're
Soliciting to a
15,
minor.
let's still meet up, but then it's still like, okay,
Yeah,
he might see, he never committed technically a full crime. Like, just because you're 15 and you say
just
you
that you want
want
to
to
hang out.
hang out and do whatever, like,
It's
I guess it just
uncomfortable even to
depends.
say,
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly. So the DA was like,
Yeah,
we're not responding anymore. So Vitali came out and told Kick, he's like, get ready, because we're about to make these punishments a lot more embarrassing. So I don't know
yeah,
what they're gonna do now, but they have to be careful with the fine line of, like, not losing their shit and beating the shit out of one of these guys, or not fully assaulting one of them.
yeah,
Or what they're gonna need is a lot more proof. So that way, let's say it comes out as, like, let's say I pull up on you and you were already in the room kissing maybe an actual younger person or what. But then, see, it doesn't even count, because let's just say the dude pulls up on what the girl said was 15, but then they do start making out, but it's actually not a minor. It's like, then it's just like, oh, well, it wasn't even a minor.
yeah.
So there's just going to be a fine line, and they have to get creative of, like, how to make that fine line without getting a full assault charge. But if they do get that, then how to make sure that the pedophile charges stick with them.
I just feel like it should be illegal in general to like tell somebody, "Hey, we're not coming out to your fucking 911 call." Like, you know what I
Well,
mean? We're not coming out no more because it's not like urgent.
I mean, they'll just chalk it as, like, all right,
Like,
we
how do
have,
you separate that? You know, in like a
but it's
in a
not
practical
but it's not
sense,
emergency.
it's not. But at the same time, it's
So,
like,
like, they might respond to the call, but at that point, these calls are like 10 minutes long, the interaction. So then, by the time they respond, could be an hour, 2 hours later.
and
It's
then the
long gone.
DA, and then so like the DA is separate from police, right? So
Well, the DA is the one who processes
exactly who
cases
would prosecute him. So the cops could still, if they wanted to, arrest them. It's just when they got to their court hearing, it would get thrown out because the DA doesn't want to
on the
prosecute him.
spot. Yeah.
And to me, something is better than nothing. Is there cops that would do that? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they have, their own orders from higher ups
Yeah.
where they don't want that type of shit happening anymore. And whether they agree with it or not, how many things you have to do at a 9 to 5 that you don't necessarily agree with? Hey, I'm
Yeah.
here to get paid and do a job. So I can see both sides of it, but at the same time, it's like to prevent like a possible, you know,
Yeah. And then
some type of sexual abuse. eh,
back
That's like I feel like should be the most important thing
well, I
that we
think that's
can
why
do.
they're like embarrassing them. I mean, and at the end of the day too,
Yeah.
like
And
ima-
also putting their face out there and posting it all over
imagine
the
if you're
internet for
literally
people
a
to
no
know.
one in LA, you're just and I'm gonna use Hispanic because they have gotten like a few Hispanic guys. Let's say you're just a Hispanic, you have families, extended cousins, people, and you get your niece or your nephew, he's watching, scrolling through the TikTok, big fan, big streamer person, watches a lot of streams, and now you see your uncle just got, it's like,
Wait, why'd you put Hispanic into it?
well,
Why
no,
did we
because
have a
like the
race?
last 3 or 4 I saw today were literally just like Hispanic
Oh,
ones,
okay.
or we could go with Herschel, but whatever. But what's crazy about that one,
Is he's connected within Hollywood.
and Vitelli tweeted, if he's like,
Illuminati.
just so we're clear, I would never kill myself. And then
Who
yeah,
said that?
Vitali.
Oh, Vitali said that just
And then
so he could
Bradley Martin was like, they
so they
were
can
doing
have
a
proof.
stream behind the scenes, and he was just like, I'm done. He's like, this is too crazy. He was like,
Bradley Martin
yeah,
said
he
that?
was like, no, this is fucked. He's like, I'm out of here. Because of the guy they pressed, and it was Bradley Martin the one pressing him.
Why was he saying I'm gonna get out of here though?
He doesn't want the smoke.
That's crazy.
He don't want the smoke.
I mean,
So I think
if that's the truth, that's like disappointing. But at the same time, obviously,
I mean,
self preservation's the number one
yeah,
goal. But also, it's like there's a lot of like lines I would push and step over
yeah.
to prevent shit like
I
that from
mean,
happening.
and this is where it goes to like to an extent, like when you're starting to expose the elites or people that, and I don't even know
Have
if you fully
control.
consider him an elite, but like someone who's like, but for him, it goes back into that whole thing about Disney and all these things um
You're like this shit's
being
been going on for
perverted,
a
or
while.
everyone's had this conspiracy of like what
The
Disney's
history of
done,
it.
and now that they're able to pull something like that, it's like, oh damn. And then on top of that, there was people who publicized the next day. They called it like, so imagine I tarnished your, or you tarnished your name today, and then you have your PR team just drop 10 good articles that you've done. Eh,
And kind of bury it.
exactly. So they did that, and everyone was like, yo, that's nasty, that's crazy
And
that
like I
like
know some of these
that's
PR
happening.
people too, just because they've obviously tried to afford me their services and shit with my music, because public relations, you need it, right? So they can scrub the internet of shit too. You
Yeah,
know what I
no,
mean?
you can.
So if you don't necessarily have the proper budget behind you, that's a way that they can
And his
also make shit
Wikipedia is locked
disappear.
now too.
Really.
Yeah, they locked his Wikipedia, so you can't even go make some comments
But
on
I
his
mean,
shit
I
either.
just don't know how he even gets another job anywhere after you see that
Yeah, but he's
video.
76 though.
Yeah,
He has
well,
enough money that,
we should asphyxiate this
yeah,
motherfucker.
no, seriously, or do something.
Asphyxiate, asphyxiate. Yeah, I got that right.
But speaking of the kids, Tom Brady roast show.
Ooh,
Weird transition, but they brought into a few sets of families on that joint. So,
oh my God, that shit
um,
was fucking comedic gold.
yeah,
We were talking about it last night, so I went and ran the whole thing back
yeah,
last night. I didn't go to sleep till like 3 in the morning because
yeah,
I didn't get home till like 11. So by the time I like settled in and shit, it was like around midnight. And I was like, I can't go on the fucking pod and not know, like,
yeah,
and I didn't want to cram it in today. So I was like, I wanted time to sit on it and think
yeah, yeah.
about it, bro. That
That's
shit,
crazy.
I loved it.
I loved it, and
I
I'm
love.
so glad and thankful Netflix let that be the way it is. Other than one thing which I heard and I saw this on TikTok too, but apparently everyone booed Kim K when she came up, and that is gone.
Oh
So
yeah, I didn't hear that.
you
That's
don't
what I was thinking too, and
they
I didn't
boo
see
a
that
bunch of people booed
they
Kim
were
K,
booing.
but that is
That's
gone.
one thing. If I was like one of the producers of these shows, it's like, bro, you got to let it ride, whatever it
Yeah.
is. Especially if you're doing it live, it's like you're kind of selling a false bill of
Well, it was
goods.
live,
It
so
it
it's
was
kind of
live, but
crazy.
then how they gonna go in there and edit out the
Yeah.
booze and shit? It's like we want to see it for exactly what it was. That's the
Yeah.
whole point of having something live. But at the same time, money changes everything.
Yeah.
So if Kim K hit him, her PR people, and was like, look, we're
Mhm.
gonna give you 10 million to fucking
Yeah.
replace the booze with cheers. Hey, all right, tell
Oh.
me where you want me to do it. Like
Yeah.
I'll do the same thing. So
Exactly.
I get it, but bro, one of my favorite jokes was the one I forget who told it. I think it was Kevin Hart. He was like, "Yeah, he's like, Sammy J's here. He was like, "So we got a fat black lesbian comedian on the dais." He was like, Netflix checked off a lot of boxes with that one." I was like, "Oh
Oh
my god!"
shit.
I mean, they were just going for the
Yeah.
throw. It was old school comedy. Don't take yourself too seriously. I mean, a lot of shit that they were throwing out there is very close to the line, but it's
Oh,
like
I mean, it was total. It was on. It was
it was
it
over the
in
line.
today's day
It
and
was
age.
like the
It
place
crossed the
where you
line.
could go
It
over the
crossed the
line.
line.
No, I mean, but in the history of roast, it's like that's something that if Tom Brady signed up for it,
Yeah.
he's like, you have to know that's coming.
No, it crossed today's day, age, and line of like
Was
where we're at
socially
today.
acceptable,
Exactly. Like comedians couldn't come out here and like tell half of those jokes for a special on
and it was
Netflix. So the
great.
fact that they aired that, it might have opened up the bar for something new.
And it was great.
It was good.
Who do you think did the best? Who was your favorite?
I
Put it that
liked
way.
Gronk was yeah, Kevin Hart. I liked Kevin Hart, and I liked
Did you watch the whole thing all the way through?
yeah, I watched the
Okay.
whole thing.
You could pull up some of the people that were on the panel just so
Yeah,
hold on. Let me pull up some of the
no, I
names.
liked Edelman was I one the one I liked or not liked. It's not my favorite, but Dana was like I flew out here and Netflix only gave me 60 seconds. Is Dana not is Dana not trans enough for you liberal fucks?
That was funny.
Like, come on. And
That
that
was
just
funny
like
as fuck.
fits Dana's literally personality in a nutshell. And but what do you think? Like, do you think anyone crossed the line? Where would you say like because Tom Brady ate that up?
I was about to call him Bob Ross, but Jeff Ross. Bob
Yeah,
Ross is the painter.
yeah,
Jeff Ross, who's kind of like the producer of the roast. You see where he said some shit about Robert Kraft and
yeah.
the massages, and
And
then
then
Tom Brady came. He was like, "Hey,
yeah,
cut that shit
and that
out."
was the only thing he
So I
went
guess
for.
like before they aired and before they got on stage and they started the whole thing, that was pretty much the only thing that was off limits because Robert Kraft, who's the owner of the Patriots, for people that don't know, had a whole scandal about him
Yeah,
soliciting the prostitutes, quote
yeah,
unquote massages, and that's where that joke came in because he said, Tom Brady, the first day he came into training camp, he came up and he
yeah,
had the famous words, "This is the best decision your organization's ever made," and everybody was like
yeah,
cheered. And then when it got quiet, and he was like, "Do you want a massage?"
yeah,
It was hilarious,
yeah. That
and
was
I had
good.
to look it up because I didn't remember about anything about
Yeah,
the scandal.
and
To
then
be
they
honest,
aired Belichick sneaking out of that girl's house.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
that
funny.
shit was crazy.
Yeah.
But the one person that I liked the best was homeboy Kill Tony.
Well, oh, is that the
That's
guy that introduced Dana?
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
was
yeah.
fucking
Yeah, he was
hilarious,
good too.
bro.
I liked him too.
I mean, he had every joke he was telling was a fucking hit.
Yeah. What do you think about like the Aaron Hernandez stuff?
I think that might have Tony Hinchcliffe, that's his name. That might have been a little bit, going overboard even for roast
Yeah,
standards, because I mean the dude's dead, but at the same time, it's like the whole point of the roast is to almost make like the audience uncomfortable,
exactly.
you
And
know?
that's what Kevin Hart came out saying first. Kevin Hart's always good,
Nah,
so
he is,
this
and
shit was good
he
too.
has a perfect balance of like those like hard hitting jokes, but at the
Mhm.
same time, I feel like his personality and how he like carries on the flow of the conversation,
Yeah,
like almost not necessarily sweep that under the rug, but it falls by the wayside. It doesn't get as much like weight that it should,
yeah,
or it doesn't get as much reaction like it would from somebody else that
yeah,
said it. But the fucking joke that Kill Tony said when he went up to Burt Kreischer, Burt Kreischer and Tom Segura, they're
yeah,
they're the hosts of the podcast Two Bears or
yeah.
something like that, something with bears in it. But they have a podcast together, so they came up and bro, Kill Tony went over to Burt Kreischer. He was like, "Yeah," he was like, "Burt Kreischer looks like if the Liver King only ate Burger King, and his liver is as black as Martin Luther King and got beat up by Rodney King." I was like, "Oh my god, bro!" It's like, but the way that he was just hitting it
Yeah,
every time. I mean, he hit all his cues, all his rhythms. Fucking started talking shit to Kim Kardashian
yeah.
about all the black people that a lot of black guys have celebrated in her end zone. And
Yeah,
he brought it up
yeah,
when first he was like he's like, "Oh yeah, talking about a whale or a whale's vagina. Kim Kardashian's here tonight,
yeah.
everybody." And then he was like, "Here's a piece of advice, Kim. Close your legs. You have more public beef than Kendrick and Drake." it,
Yes,
it
yeah,
was just, bro. To me, I thought it was comedic gold. Like I've been saying, but the one thing is like, bro, Rob Gronkowski, you could tell he came up there and just like halfway through just started almost like I felt like he
Just
was letting
yeah,
loose on shit that he's wanted to say for maybe years, and he was like, "Fuck it, if this is the type of forum where you can say whatever you want." He kind of
yeah.
took it to the max, and then he at the end took the fucking
The shot
the
glass.
shot and then fucking spiked it.
Well, I didn't realize probably how much assholes and hardheads and like Gronk said, no fun fuckers are Brady and Belichick.
Yeah, I mean,
That would suck. That would really suck. If that was actually his first time drinking with them after 6 or 7 rings,
that's
whatever,
crazy. 20 years.
that's trash, bro.
Well, at the end of
I
the
would
day,
hate
it's
that.
like, bro, everybody wants the success and the
Yeah.
greatness that like Brady and Belichick have been able to attain, but nobody wants what comes with it. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
but bro, come on.
I
Drinks
mean,
with your tight end after 2 or 3 or 4 or 5
look
Super
at Kobe.
Bowls?
People say the same thing about Kobe Bryant. He was an
Yeah,
asshole.
but I'm pretty
A
sure he
lot of
had a drink or 2.
you never know though. I'm just saying great people, and I'm not saying it's all same for
That's true
everybody,
too, though. They
but
did
great
say,
people
yeah,
to attain those great feats, they got to do things other people don't want to do, and
yeah,
also everybody has their own process and the way they do it. So it's like once some and athletes in general, they're super like superstitious, super superstitious. So
mhm,
it's like if they do something that works one time, they're just gonna keep that same routine. And so it's like it's even called like a ritual. A lot of people have like a pregame ritual, what they do, how they do it, the things they eat, what they wear.
yeah,
And so it just is what it is, speaking to that. But at the same time, it's like you can be great, but what comes with it isn't great. Like
yeah,
not like a lot of these like athletes talk about not being able to be home for their kids' birthdays or for their like kids' births.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And never really being able to raise their kid and grow up with them because they're always traveling. Like those are things that if you want to be great, you have to sacrifice. And so it's like sometimes along with that can come bad shit like being an asshole. Like for instance, when we talk about business or I talk about my music or we talk about anything, sometimes they're uncomfortable situations, right? Like uncomfortable conversations because of how we go about it. And that intensity is what kind of fuels that, makes people feel uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, you want to be great, you got to do great things. So I don't expect the average to understand. That's kind of like where I lay it down. But so
People who are very serious,
yeah,
these are two different lifestyles.
that
Like
may
yeah,
not commingle.
coexist,
mhm.
and they're not like. But in the dating realm, you will
Hit the
meet.
mic. I need this on the mic. Hit it on the
Yeah, hit the
mic. Hit
mic.
it on
Come
the
on.
mic.
We getting all this
Manny
shit right
spin
here.
bars again. Manny
Y-
spin bars.
So in the dating realm, you will meet. Say you're a man, you're Kobe.
Sorry, we're talking about our drinking right now and athletes and whatnot. So come again. Sorry, Manny.
This is a
Yeah.
tangent that's going off of
Yeah,
Tom Brady and Rob
and
Gronkowski never having a drink
yeah.
after 20 years of playing together and 7 Super Bowls.
Boo.
So you do have people who are very serious about life and what they're trying to achieve, and say some things that other people are interested in might not be aligning with who they are or
Yeah,
what they're about, and falling into relationships, you can find yourself in positions with people trying to maybe relate to one another, doing things that you originally don't find suit with yourself, like
Yeah.
make you who you are, but you're just in that position to possibly find someone who you're meant to be with forever, and that's probably starting it off backwards.
yeah,
Like you would want to find yourself involved with the person based off of you and your connections being around what you like and what
Like-minded
you like to
interests.
do.
yeah,
Like-minded interests.
Right.
yeah. I feel that, and I feel. I mean, that's a great point.
That is
Like
a great
just
point.
making sure that you find people who align with like what you want as
And
like ver
that could be talked about in like a relationship dating sense as well as like a business sense too, because there's going to be a lot of people that coexist that don't necessarily like have the same views. For
yeah,
instance, Tom Brady
exactly.
and Rob Gronkowski. You know,
Yeah,
Rob Gronkowski's obviously a little bit more of a party guy. At least that's how he's branded himself, and that's how he comes off. But then when I think about Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, it doesn't surprise me that they've never gone out for a drink in 20 years because they operate a little bit differently.
yeah,
Now me, you, would that be something that would surprise somebody if they heard that? For sure. If we don't go have a drink with somebody and we've known
yeah,
them for 20 years, we just don't fuck with you. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
But that might not be the same for Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft, Tom Brady, whoever it may be. And so it's like it's a interesting thing to talk about. You know what I mean?
yeah,
How different dynamics breed different things, and how you could have the same reaction, the same behavior with one person
mhm,
and with another person, but they mean two completely different things.
yeah. And I'm definitely
Does that
like,
make sense?
yeah, no, it does, it
Okay.
does. And I was gonna say like I can understand it. or excuse me, I can respect it, but it is hard to understand in the sense of like I'm in the phase now where like I'm kind of I'm not gonna say I'm over partying constantly, and I've been for like 3 months,
Ever
which may
since you
not be a
turned
lot, which
ever
may
since you turned 21.
for real, which may not be a lot to some people, but when you go out, every week for 2 years
Facts.
straight, and then you're like 3 months with like 2 weekends going out or little vacation. That's the only time I've drank in the last 3-4 months is like when I went on vacation. Um, I'm kind of right there like with them of like I there's part of me who wants to stop drinking. Like I just like I wish I could never well, hold on, this isn't gonna turn into a therapy session, but there's a part of me
All good.
who's like, yeah, like I'm over drinking. Like I don't
Yeah,
want to drink anymore.
that's how I
But
am
then
too, a
there's
little
gonna be
bit.
a point where it's like I want to have a shot for events and successes in my life
Social drinking.
or exactly. And I also don't drink alone. I've always thought that was weird. There's some people I know that do and I
Thanks,
don't.
buddy.
It's that to me is just like
I've had a few drinks. You gotta when you got the weight of the world on your shoulders, sometimes you need to
bro,
take a
I
little
have
bit of a
never
breather.
found myself cracking that I can remember. This is honest to God. I don't think I've ever opened a beer or bottle or drink
By
by
yourself.
myself in an alone room.
Damn. That's
I
a
don't
hey,
think
let's
so.
clap it up for that. Let's
I
clap it
don't
up for
even
that.
no. I hope that's not normal. I hope people
Well, I
don't
mean,
be
nah, that's
opening it
honestly good. I mean, you're not
opening it up.
necessarily as far down the hole as you might be.
Yeah, shit.
So, you want to remove
But
drinking from your life, just
yeah,
remove being around your friends or
for
anybody
real,
that
huh?
makes you feel like
Just
you
be a
want to take a
loner
drink.
forever.
But it also gets into like a routine. People are creatures of habit. So like
Yeah.
when you're around people, you around your
But
friends, you're
that's
going
the
to a
issue in
dinner,
my life
you're
right
gonna want
now.
to have a drink. That's how I am.
That's
But
the
I
issue
also fuck
in my
around and
life.
drink by myself at my house if I've had
Oh,
a long
no.
day or like I'm gonna start writing. Sometimes, I take a little puff, a little
Yeah.
drink. It gets my head right. Sometimes it's like I'm thinking it'll get my head right, and then I start drinking and puffing, and that's all I'm doing is drinking and puffing. I'm
Time
not
out.
not writing anything.
Time out. I once had a bottle of wine by myself, and I'm only remembering because I was thinking
I
about
knew
you
he was
saying
lying.
I was thinking about, but I think I was with somebody.
Or
Actually, I was. I was
originally.
having a drink down the street at Corner Tap. Shout out that place with my boy, and then I had to come home and do some work. And I was like, "Damn, I wonder. I
We
wonder
should
if I could get some more creations going if I,
a little buzz.
drink some wine or something."
Yeah.
So I did, and I sat right back there, and I drank some wine by
There
myself.
you
But
go. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
red wine only, guys.
I fuck with white wine. That red wine hurt
Uh,
my stomach. It's heavy.
um, so yeah, I don't know. That's kind of just where I'm at. But I understand it. I respect it. I'm trying to understand it.
Yeah. But
Um,
with me personally, it's like being in the music industry too. It's like anywhere I go, which for me, I'm in a professional capacity. Drinking and smoking is kind of like a social norm that people
yeah.
are okay with. How many different like professions can you go and you're okay being drunk or fucked up while you do your thing? Being an artist, it's called
But there's
it has a term. It's called
um,
artist exemption. You know what I mean? So
I'm
it's just
wondering if
based
there's
off
sober
the
artists
industry.
though. Do you know
No,
any?
yeah,
I,
there's sober artists. Do you know Florida Georgia Line?
yeah.
So one of their they both actually might be sober now, but I was actually watching the shout out Bussin' with the Boys, their podcast,
Okay.
and one half of Florida Georgia Line because it's two dudes. I
Yeah.
guess they're separated now and they're both doing their solo thing, but one of them's name is BK, which stands for something.
I only
Brian's.
know the song Cruise.
Yeah, well, either way, it's
Yeah.
crazy. One of them was on the Bussin' podcast, and he was talking about like he's been sober for maybe like the last few years and he had to do it because of the things that I was talking about. Like
Mhm.
anywhere you go, especially when you really start touring, it's like it's all there for you. It's
Yeah.
free. Not just that, but the temptation with women. And they were kind of talking about that whole thing. And he was saying about how he's sober and what it's done for him and how I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. He said he started not he started stopping drinking. He stopped drinking in December and he hasn't drank since. And he's just
Damn.
saying he feels way better, but he's
Honest.
been in the game for like 10 years strong, so it's like
Yeah, and I think like
learned through personal
I think you just
experience.
need to know when to put it down.
And
It
that's
depends at what phase you are in your life.
that's
Like
tough.
where I'm at right now, and I kind of said this maybe on the pod already, but maybe not. Is like I went to Miami this last week, but before that, I went 6 weeks kind of sober. Not kind of, I did. I
Slight
think like
flex.
right before I left to Miami that week, I had like a few tequila sodas, and the brain stimulation and just feeling good, not waking up hungover. You allow yourself to work out. Because I'm also the kind of guy who, like, if I'm drinking on a Friday or Saturday, I wake up and I want a mimosa
Yeah, for
right away.
sure.
And then guess what?
Bloody
Then
Mary.
now you're having a mimosa and you're having 2 or 3 of them. And then you leave breakfast and you're like, where to next? Or brunch, where to
I
next?
like getting day faded more as I've gotten older than at night.
Yeah.
I don't know why. So
Yeah, I like that too.
I can relate with that
Yeah.
with the breakfast cocktails. But with me, it's more like a thing. I'm at the point where it's like I know I don't want drinking to be like my thing, but at the same time, I'm going to all these different places like performances or that are in clubs. Even if I go to a dinner, like let's say if we'd go out to eat after this, like I know physically, like my physical chemistry and my biology, like within my body's gonna be telling me, hey, like get a drink. But my
Yeah.
head is like, oh, come on, bro. We just said that we don't want to drink no more.
I
But I'll figure out some way to justify it. Like, okay, well, it's just this one time, or
yeah.
like I'm gonna start tomorrow, or all the normal things everybody probably tells
And
themselves.
I kind of just like, I think there's a point too where you just say, all right, what's your goal? And if you're not aligning with them, so like for me, it's in a few weeks we have the app launch event. And
Oh, we're getting fucking
and
faded,
and
fool.
either way before that, I was just like, bro, I am not happy with my body. I'm the kind of guy who drinks beer, and that boy looked like he's a beer can.
You weren't a happy dad.
So I was not happy camper or dad. And
Shout out Nelk.
I was just like, damn, like I got to the point to where I was like, I went from 180 pounds to damn near 230 in like a year. So I was like, holy shit, 50 pounds in a year, bro. And then like a few months ago, I was just like, all right, I'm done with this shit.
That's how
So
much I weigh.
now I'm at like 195. And I
Clap
and
it
I
up for
just
that.
and I say that I guess really because it was just like, all right, my body is not there. My mindset is not there. My bank account is not looking too pretty either.
Exactly. That's
Fucking go
another
out and
aspect
drop
of
some
it.
crazy dollar bills. So I was just like, all right, bet. I'm gonna just after I left Texas, I was like, I'm locking in till the launch. And then I ended up planning a trip to Miami. So I was like, all right. And then I took my little bender
He's
in
like,
Miami.
hey, I don't want to drink. I'm gonna plan a trip to Miami.
I know. But it was good. It was for the 25th birthday. You gotta that's a quarter
Did you
quarter
guys
right
end up
there.
sitting down? Sorry, did you guys end up sitting down and doing that pod you were talking about?
No, we did not.
Yeah, you guys were partying
Yeah,
way
we
too
were.
much. I knew
Yeah,
you weren't
that
gonna
that
get
was
to it.
crazy. We could
I
talk.
was honestly gonna say I was gonna slide out for the pod. I just flew out for
No,
the
you
pod, flew
wouldn't have.
back.
He's capping.
Nah, I'm real like that. I
No.
got Miami ties. I got Miami
Oh,
connections.
okay.
I've been running those streets since I was 19, just so you
Yeah.
know, South Beach.
Yeah, me too. Have you been to Miami?
I just told you.
Oh, I
My
thought
first time I went there, I was 19. I went there with
the
a
first and last time.
I went there with a little thing, you know,
That's what's up.
and we were doing our little boo thing. We were tripping around doing different things. I'm not gonna say, you know, she owned a high rise apartment with multiple balconies that looked out over all
Her
of
parents
Miami,
owned,
but that's
but
pretty much
that's
what it
pretty
was.
cool.
It wasn't her parents. She was actually a lot older than me, so
Oh,
it was hers, but I'm not sure exactly how she got it. She probably inherited it, but either way, that's nor here than there. I don't want your
that or
I
OnlyFans,
want
but
fucking your sister to watch this episode and beat the shit out of me,
um,
but yeah, so I've been
so
there
yeah.
then, and then I went for Rolling Loud Miami in 2021.
Oh,
Great
okay.
experience, great fucking
Yeah.
experience. The
Do you
dude fucking you know the guy that had the song where he's riding the skateboard and drinking the cranberry juice?
no,
You know the guy that
no,
he was on TikTok. He was famous. If you've seen it, you'd know.
no,
His name's called the Dog something. Dogface.
nope.
You don't know Dogface?
I don't think so.
Hey, Manny, can you pull up the Dogface video for me real quick while I tell my story? But either way, he was there, and it's like when he had first blown up, bro. And I was in Miami, obviously flew in from LA. Didn't take any bud with me because back then it's murky. I don't know if you could fly out with the weed if you couldn't. Either way, I didn't bring any, and I'm not sure if it's illegal in Florida now. But he was there, and I was in VIP, and we started kicking it, and he just pulled out a fucking pre-rolled blunt and gave it to me.
Oh, okay.
That guy.
Uh,
So
but didn't that guy just get famous?
yeah, but that was like in 2020 that he got famous.
Oh, okay.
2021, 2020, I forget exactly when
Oh,
that video came out, but he was there and we started kicking it and we were talking and I was just letting him know I took a picture with him. I was a big fan and I'd seen him and blah blah blah, just kind of fucking sucking his dick, I guess. And he paused and he just pulled out a fucking pre-roll blunt, gave it to me, had a blunt for that day.
how did you like Miami?
Oh, bro, I loved
Miami or
it.
Chicago?
Chicago.
Hmm.
But Miami, the people. Well, first off, the time that it was, it's 2021, so it was right after COVID. Things had just opened up.
Mhm.
I mean, the energy is like probably how it will never has never been before, and it'll never be again. Everybody was so happy to be outside,
Yeah.
go outside their house, talk to people outside their own family, in real life. And one thing that I was going to Miami made me realize what people say about people in California, that they in LA in general, in the LA areas, that they got fucking
Well,
attitudes.
Miami made me
They're a little
realize,
snobby, you know what I mean?
yeah, but
It's
I need to get out of here.
Oh, really?
Like I need to evacuate. Like damn near
You
press
don't
the E button and bounce.
you don't fuck with California at all no more?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying I think there's just so much more to
Well, let
experience.
me say this, location-wise or people-wise for California, what don't you fuck with?
The reason why I didn't fly home and pack my suitcase and leave was because the weather here is undeniable. But the views, you can find them in Miami,
Oh, yeah,
in
for
my
sure.
opinion.
It's just a
The
lot
th-
more humid over there.
well, that's what I'm saying. The weather's the only thing that keeps people in the state.
Oh, that's
And
what
to
you were
be
saying.
exact, it's more Southern California. You go to the desert and you might as well move to
It's
Miami.
the coast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly what I'm saying. So
coast, baby.
that's the I think that's the big problem, but I'm ready to get out of here. I want to go live in a high rise and wake up and just open my blinds and see some other buildings for a year. I need to do it. I'm gonna get it done before
That's
I
dope.
have a kid, because then I wouldn't want to raise kids in a
But
high rise.
Miami was lit for real, because of the people there. They were a lot more respectful, a lot more yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, and that's kind of how I was
Well,
raised.
for me, it was all Spanish.
That's
I was
great
lucky
too.
if I talked English.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
like
you were
they're
in little Mexico.
bro. No, you need to go back to Miami and see. They're
Well,
not.
I know there's a lot of
I
there's a big Hispanic
I
like
didn't find anyone who
population.
spoke English.
Oh, you're tripping then.
No, I was all over Miami.
Well, who are you talking to? Everybody,
The people at the restaurants, the
E-
people at the
everybody at. Oh,
clubs.
so I got a funny story.
And I'll go back. There was obviously people who spoke
No,
English,
no,
but
yeah, I
it
get
was
what you're saying.
definitely 70-30
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
minimum.
There's a big Hispanic population
Yeah,
over there
Latin
in Miami.
American, yeah,
Obviously, they're
whatever.
only like 50 miles from Cuba.
Yeah.
So, a funny story though, when I went to Miami that first time, I was telling you, when I was 19, obviously under the drinking age, me and my girl that I was with, we go to a restaurant, sit down right there on South Beach on the strip. And a lot of the waiters there and waitresses, they're like immigrants that either come from, Cuba. Either way, a lot of them were more Hispanic, Spanish speaking,
Yeah.
more or less spoke broken English, and therefore I'm just setting that up. So that's the more the type of people that are like being your waiters and waitresses at these restaurants. And so we got there, and my girl wanted to drink. She was like, should we try? And I was like, well, we're obviously not 21. I was
Yeah.
like, we can't. I was like, but me being me, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna ask anyway. So the waiter comes up, and he's like, what do you guys want to drink? I say the drink is one of those fucking margaritas with the two beers in it.
Yeah.
That's the one she wanted. And I said it, and then they were like, okay, well, do you have ID? And I'm used to here in California, like, it's strict. You don't got ID, you don't get served. And so they asked me, do you have your ID? And I was like, oh, no, I don't got my ID. And then they were like, okay. And then me in my head, I'm like, well, okay. They said, okay, hey, sorry, babe. I tried to get you your drink, but it didn't work. 5 minutes later, they come out with the drink.
Yeah.
So it's
That
like, and I was talking, and the people next to us overheard us talking about it, and they told us, they're like, yeah, well, a lot of these waitresses and waiters that work here, they depend on tips, so they're not going to turn away you drinking because then they feel like it'll affect their tip. And I guess the drinking laws are a lot more loose there, obviously, than
well,
they are here in California.
so I only got ID checked once. I hate South Beach. And then I talked to a girl who was born and raised in Miami, and she was like, I've been clubbing since I was 15. Granted, there's some clubs who would be like, let me see your ID, and then she's like, I don't have it, and then they're like, all right, well, you can't come in. But she was like, you can club here when you're 15 as long as you don't look like a little boy. She said, I've been in the clubs since 15.
See, that's what I'm
And
talking about. Shit's not as strict there in
and
that
nah,
aspect.
and the only complaint I kind of had was
Damn, that made me want
every
to. I should have tried to go into the clubs.
every single place included their 20% tip,
Yeah.
which kind of sucked because it's like, bro, I'm buying a coffee. I don't want to give you 20%
Well,
or 1%.
I'm not giving you
But
20% of
but
your
it's like, at
coffee.
least in California, it's like usually like 18 for a party of 6. And then it's like, all right, and then you give two more
And then based
So it's
off
just
what state you're in too, you gotta think about the fucking minimum wage is different everywhere,
well, that's why
so
I didn't like South Beach. We went to South Beach and we basically got nothing. It was still like $250
that's
because
crazy.
they imposed like a South Beach tax, 20%.
Scratching your ass
Well,
tax, fucking
bro,
paper tax.
South Beach was not. I
Yeah,
didn't really
no,
like it,
no, they were
but
taxing too, but when I went, but that was like I was obviously young. It was probably obviously like I said, just me and my girl, and it was we didn't get out of there for under $100.
okay,
So it was still good, but
yeah,
you're talking about I was 19, so almost like 10 years ago.
yeah,
So it was a little bit different money wise, but still was dope. But the one thing that I regret now that you're saying about the club thing is that
you didn't
she
try.
wanted to go into the club, but I was like, we don't have an idea. I'm still thinking with my
Yeah,
California state of mind. And yeah, so we never even
it was
tried,
it
but we
was
might have got in,
it
bro.
was like
That'd
that,
been
bro.
sick.
In a lot of places, like I'm trying to remember about Texas. Maybe I did get ID'd in places, and maybe with Vegas too, but like probably Vegas. But I feel like I've been. Oh, Virginia. When I went to Virginia Beach a few months ago, like, bro, I didn't get ID checked there either, and I just went throughout Miami the whole time with getting ID checked once. It's kind of crazy.
I feel like it's
Kind of
almost
crazy.
like if you buy, let's say if you rent an apartment, like, and your rent's pretty high, you're gonna expect security to come with that. It's gated,
Yeah,
like there's a lot of amenities that you get. But versus if you move into an apartment building where the rent's really low, it's like you're not gonna expect that type of stuff. So maybe it's like the same thing when it like um when you in reference to the states. Like, you have to you get charged up the ass to live in California. So
yeah,
does that mean everything that goes on with California, like their restrictions, their policies, their security, everything's ramped up versus these places where you're talking about like Texas, West Virginia, and Florida, where its cost is a little bit more minimal
yeah,
and maybe it's not as
yeah,
stringent in some areas obviously that we've noticed by personal experience. I was just creating that not duality but the correlation between the two,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Because
Maybe.
it's something that I was so not used to, and you could say uncultured. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because that was just like it
Well,
blew
yeah.
my mind when they came out with the drink, even though I told them I didn't have my ID.
It's like going to Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. And they just wanted to make sure they got their tip. And once I
Yeah.
realized that, bro, we went to that same restaurant every night and
Yeah.
got fucked up.
That's the
Shout
way
out
she
Miami,
goes.
man. That shit was so fucking
Yeah.
fun.
I'm probably gonna go back maybe before the launch. We'll see.
But
I fell in love with that place.
Chicago is dope too. A lot of the Midwest vibes is a lot like Southern hospitality vibes too,
Yeah. I
where
love that.
straight shooters too.
Same with Virginia.
Straight shooters and people that aren't
So neither sorry, but
no, go
needless
ahead.
to say, yeah, it's and maybe it's because I'm trapping myself in this city that's so small, Santa Barbara. So maybe a lot of that has to do, but even then, like let's say I go to Ventura, I still don't know I don't know anybody there, so I could go out on the street, but at the end of the day, it's like, eh. And then you say like, okay, so then get out of these two places. Where do you go? LA? LA, that's for sure where you meet those rude people.
Yeah, for
And then
sure.
San
Where
Diego,
everybody has their head up their own ass.
San Diego is like priced out the ass too. So it's
Yeah.
like, bro, I
Better
think
people
it's
though.
just
Better people in San Diego.
probably better people, but I think it's just time to go out
And I'd
and
hate to
just
I hate making generalizations like that, but people know what we're talking about. I mean,
yeah.
I didn't realize that until I went outside of California and everybody I felt like, why is everybody so polite and nice? And then I realized, oh wait, this is just how the rest of the world is. Where I'm at, it's not.
But it's just like there's so many like I'm very, very, very big on like respect when you like anytime I go into somewhere, I would just went in the gas station and buy water and get some gas. And they rung me. I was like, yes, please, thank you. Have a good day. Those are three words that or three little phrases that not a lot of people say, but I literally say them every time. Restaurant, waiter, whatever, just because it's like it
Older,
feels
younger,
good.
I don't care. Yeah,
It
no, to
feels
me,
so good
it
to
feels
just be
good
like,
too. To
have a
me
good
too.
day.
Bro, that's
And
where
then
me
you just walk away, or you're like,
that's where me
is
and you
that it?
relate.
Yes, it is. And then, okay, thank you so much. Have a
Yeah.
good day. And it's just like so many people here don't and won't say that because I don't know. It's not, I mean, they're not bad. It's just like, and I feel like some people in the world, and I've seen this on podcasts, they like totally, and we are shitting on kind of some California stuff right now, but like will make it sound like no one wants to talk to you and everyone's mean, but it's just more of the lack of consistency is what it is. There's good people, it's just a lack of consistency. So if you're
You could say
working or
that.
if you're walking down the street, how many people are being respectful and being like, "Oh my god, how's your day? That's a very cute dog," and not being like, "Oh my god, are you gonna harass me?" type deal.
Yeah.
It's just like a lack of consistency, and it just I don't know. Yeah, it does ruin it.
Yeah,
It
I
ruins it.
mean, but it was just an eye-opening experience for me But
Definitely.
other than that, we got off on a crazy tangent. We were talking
We
about the
could.
Tom Brady roast. I think there was something else I wanted to talk about on
Oh,
that, but now I'm forgetting. Either way, who cares? It was funny as fuck. I
yeah.
enjoyed it. We need more
I
comedy like
think I
that.
think it was good that they let that air. I think it was good they let everything play. And
I think we
that's
just
the way
need
she
more of
goes.
it, and I guarantee there will be more of it,
Yeah.
especially after I'm hearing about like the like record breaking numbers it did and shit
Yeah.
like that. I'm not sure exactly what they are, but I know people were going crazy over that shit. It's all people have been able to talk about for like the last week.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And look at us, we're here talking about it. So,
Yeah.
well, that shores that up. We already. What was the next topic?
No, I think we're good.
Did we talk about everything?
I don't know if you want to speak about that last one. Talk about your label or just wait.
Well, I mean, I guess I could bring it up a little bit. I've been obviously for people that don't know, I'm a musician, I'm an artist, hip hop artist, and songwriter as well, performing artist, performing and recording. Let's see how many more how many more titles I could throw in there. But yeah, I've been talking with a few labels right now, and things are looking up.
You're close.
Things are really looking up. We're still in talks, but just like I said, they're moving in the right direction. I'm really blessed to have met some good people,
Yeah.
coincidentally enough, through home inspections.
Nice.
Almost every connection, not every connection, I'm lying, but a lot of connections I've gotten through doing home inspections. I meet so many people throughout the day. You
Yeah.
know, I can have 2 to 3 home inspections a day. They're all at different spots. I've done home inspections for famous people, blah, blah, blah. I could talk all day about it, but it's just funny how sometimes I'll be like, oh, you know what? I don't think I can make that home inspection, or I can't do this, I can't do that. Or maybe have one of my guys fill in for me. And at the last minute, like especially this time in particular, where I met the person that connected me with these labels, I was like, you know what, fuck it, I can push that, or I can do whatever. I'm gonna make sure I get to work because you know we need to work. You're like me, we give our word. We're gonna make sure that we do the most that we can
Yeah.
to come through on it. So I did that, and I met this person out of the blue, and they pretty much connected the dots for me. We talked for probably about a couple weeks, sent them a lot of my unreleased music, and they put me in connection with these different labels, and it's all really really positive shit that's going on. I don't want to, you know, jinx anything too soon, but you may be seeing
Did you
DG at your
did you send him that one song that I like?
which one?
I don't know.
Did I send the labels in one song you like?
Yeah, I'm like really hyped about it. Where do you save audios at on this? Oh, files, right?
Files. Either way, you might be seeing DG on a movie screen
Can
near
I play
you.
a little bit of this song?
Go ahead. Which one is
100
it?
bands?
Huh?
100
Go
bands?
ahead.
And then we'll end on this note.
This
This
is
is
where
my
you
favorite one.
this is where you do the
This is my
cutting back
favorite
and
one.
forth. Shout out OG David James.
100 band, 100 band, 100 band, 100 band. I hit it once and then I do the running man. I broke the doors off the hinges. I'm coming in. When I get in it, you know I go dominant. I ain't never been past one dominant. They gave me the deal, I ain't signing it. I could be dripped, I don't need no designer shit. If I'm the second, that means I'm behind a bitch. I drop that shit on his hand top. He can't move in the street, it's a dead stop. I want to one, I'm a dead lock.
That's it. I wanted to
Hey,
keep going, but
that's good,
that's
bro. That was
it.
a little sneak
That's
peek.
it.
We gave him something.
I'm begging DG to drop this, so if anyone could help me get that going, I appreciate it.
Comment down
I do
below if you
slap it in
want
my
it.
car, but I'm like trying to like just have it on Apple Music. So
Yep, and just run up the streams. But either way, yeah. So label talks are going good. It's looking up for DG. I may be on you know, your TV, your speakers somewhere soon near you. And shit,
yeah,
another day, another dollar. That's how we do it, man.
yes, sir. We appreciate you guys. Let us know if you want some hats
Yep.
right here.
Before
Some
we get out,
phones,
got some
and
merch, man.
we appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one.